Okay, now today we're going to look at an option for escaping side control. But first I have to sort of preface it with what the problem really is. The first big problem is just creating space and getting his chest up off of you. There are ways you can get him to pull and create space for you, because he's, in this case what I'm going to show you, he's going to free his arm, or try to free his arm, and that's going to give me the space. It can lead to a nice triangle choke and a possible Kimura, but the point I really want to make up front is that that's not the end-all be-all. That's not the only thing you can go for. In the bigger picture, you will use it just to get out of side control and not really just go for the triangle and the Kimura. So I'm under Sean's side control, and here's what happens. It actually starts here, where my first approach is to do a knee elbow escape to put him in the guard. And if this guy knows what he's doing and he expects this escape, he's going to change his arm position to block the knee elbow escape. So I'm already doing this, and I'm bringing my knee in, but you see he puts his arm there and blocks it and changes to side control, what we call side control B, version B. And this explicitly blocks the knee elbow escape. I can't get my knee in, all right, and I can't put him in my guard or half guard. So I have to change my arm position since he changed his side control. And what I do is I'm bringing my arms under. But here's another problem. If I bring both arms under, now I'm going to slide out this way. And this is a good escape against side control B, but he shifts his weight and prevents it. So whenever I try to slide that way, he's got his weight over my hips. Whenever I try to turn into him, he puts his weight on my left shoulder. So see, I can't turn either. This guy knows every move. Whenever I move one direction, he changes his weight commitment, closes in the space, and I can't move. So now I realize, oh, this arm is here. I can grab his wrist. I'm going to extend my right leg and turn my hips real quickly. Here's what's going to happen. I'll do a quick little bump, and I flatten my leg and I trap his arm inside my legs. Now, in and of itself, that's not really earth-shattering. He's still got side control. And truth be known, some wrestlers and judo people will try to pin people here like this. They'll get the other arm around the head, and they'll call, Yoko, Shiogatami, etc. They'll pin this way. And as long as you're not thinking about the possibilities for a triangle, this can be a very effective pin because the arms are what we call turking the legs. I can't turn my hips because his arm is through my legs. But I don't really need that. What I'm going to do is trap his arm as high up near his shoulder as I can, to where even if he tries to get his shoulder out, his arm out, I'll follow him with my legs. And now he's starting to create space here. My other hand goes to his head, and now these legs are going to open up and chomp down on his head as well as his arm, like this. And as soon as I do, I put my left foot behind my right knee, and now I can begin to squeeze. I can even grab this other arm and pull as I do it, and it makes a very tight triangle. Some people, though, are too big, and you can only get this much, and you can't choke them. So now I begin to attack this arm, and I go for the Kimura. My legs are holding him still, while my arms are going for that arm. But the thing is, once I trap this arm, what I'm really looking for, let's say he knows better and I can't trap his head, then he wants to shake and get this arm out. And so what I'll do is, as he's getting up and shaking that arm, I'll take the moment to hold him where he is and scoot out. I might get out that way, I might not. What's more of a sure thing is to do this. You trap the arm, you trap the head, and now, as you go for this arm, he buries it. You can't get it. So you start to push on his hip, and I'm using the pressure of this leg against his head to bring this knee through. And now, he might want to change the direction and pass that way, but I already beat him to the punch there, and I've got my leg out. Put him back in my guard. What can also happen, though, is I'm here like this, and he pushes on my knee to pass. He gets his head inside. So he's still pushing on the knee with this hand. And as he does, I get to my elbow, I post on his head, I hit Heist out of there. So you have to be ready to change it up, to change up your approach in an instant, and change from getting your guard, for example, to hip Heisting and coming up to your base and becoming a wrestler again. All right? All of this came about because I was able to create space by trapping his head and arm, making him want to pull out, or trapping his arm to where he wants to pull out, and then using that space, using that while the window is there. The thing about escaping side control is that you can create brief windows of opportunity, and beginners will tend to let them go right by. And as a person becomes more advanced, they can see, expect it or anticipate it, and actually use the space while it's there before he closes in again. Because he's going to only briefly relieve pressure, and that's usually in response to me sort of attacking him. So notice from the bottom, I'm really attacking him to get him to react and try to save himself, and that's where I get my space. So let's look at this one more time. This gets a little bit complex, but in the long run, more elaborate, or I'll say necessarily complex ways of addressing this are going to work because it is a complicated problem. It's not a simple problem. Things change from the top, so I have to change what I'm doing from the bottom. And if I don't change it in the right way at the right time, I fail utterly. Then I end up right back here where I started, but I'm worse off because now I'm tired from wasting all this energy. Okay, so I reach down, I grab his wrist, and I choose my moment. Bump, trap. All right, every time he tries to pull this out, my legs and hips come up with it. And now I push his head and chop down again. And immediately go right to here. So I squeeze and I can get him. It's tight. Now that I'm here, I can go for this Kimura this way with the underhook or the wrist grip here. Or even a straight elbow lock, elbow press with a figure four. That's also an option. But in the long run, I move my hips out. He's trying to turn into me. I push. And he's going to want to pass that way. So I block the arm, put my leg over. Sometimes I can then pull this arm in, with both arms that is, and get him in a triangle anyway. So you can, as your leg work improves over time, you can find more and more ways of putting on a quick triangle by surprise as things change. You'll notice that there were actually two triangles in that sequence. One was from the side, with the legs reversed, and the other one was a standard front-facing, more or less front-facing triangle.